Hey guys, J-Man here for another Let's Read Superboy. This time we're going to do issue 2. All right, so we're just keeping this. This is going to be one of these shorter streams. We're just going to go through issue number 2. I like Superboy, so I thought, why not read some of these and just kind of go through it and see what you guys think. All right, so let's get that going here. Okay. Superboy number 2. This was 10 cents. At first glance, you might think, why is Superboy, has he gained weight or what's going on here? Why is he all topply? No, it's Superboy holding a Superboy float with these other guys here. So this is Smallville. They're celebrating Superboy Day. Woohoo! All right, so Superboy, The Adventures of Superman when he was a boy, which is the Superboy that I like. I mean, I don't mind Connor and these other characters. They're fine. But really, Superboy's got to be Clark Kent, right? Really. So, okay. In honor of Superboy Day, we present the most amazing documentary film ever made. See the dazzling parade of feats that have made Superboy famous. Don't miss the stunts of Superboy. One, please. So we got all these people here and different posters here of Superboy doing all this kind of cool stuff. Hey, fellas, did you hear the news? This Saturday is going to be Superboy Day. Woo, are you kidding? Wow, golly. Boy, well, I wouldn't miss tomorrow for anything. It's like, all right. Well, I don't know what to say except that it sure is nice of the mayor. So that's great. So they're putting up this banner here. So you have these guys practicing. No, Otto, my new composition, the Superboy March, must be played right. It's not oompa oompa, it's oompa oompa pa. I don't know. Here comes Superboy. Now they always draw Superboy with one knee up. It's like, okay. That's just like they always. I've noticed that not all of them. I think I'm on issue 4 now or 5. No, I think I'm on 5 now, and this is like just kind of the staple. Well, where's Superboy? Don't tell me he's going to be late for his own celebration. There he is. Yay, Superboy. So they're all having this, little celebration here. And he's got a jetpack. Did he have that earlier? So he's got no, it says later. It does say later, with a smoke tank strapped to his back. Superboy writes his gratitude, so he puts thanks. So here we've got these guys who are going to be judging some stuff for Superboy. So he's going to be doing some stunts. He's like, yeah, sure. He's like, these are the judges. They will choose the various stunts you are to perform. I'm all set. Let's get started. So they basically have him just do random stuff here. This is one of these things where Superboy is so fast that he's doing all of these things at once. I mean, I don't know. I can't tell if they're trying to say that this is all happening at once or if he's just playing these different instruments. Tug of war with an elephant. Now, we saw in the last issue that he lifted like 6 elephants, so I don't think that this would be too hard for him. And he like goes through, comes out, digs through. Takes some lightning strikes here, chops some trees. This is Sato from Karate Kid 2 style, or I guess Miyagi was the one who did it. He uses his X-rays to melt glass. He goes in sulfuric acid. I love that there's like he's spitting the acid out, but I do love the fact that there is a tub of sulfuric acid just like there. Now, I guess they brought it in for him to show off what he could do. So, I mean, I guess so. That just seems very dangerous. And then on ice skates, Superboy goes around and around so fast that he has a disc of ice. So that's kind of cool. She pogo stick. He smashes through brick. This is basically a brick wall with like steel reinforced over top of it, and he just smashes through all that. Okay, so this guy's like, hey, boys, I've got an idea how we can use Superboy stunts. It's like, no kidding. How, boss? He's like, well, we've got to work fast. So they basically kidnap the judges, and they make themselves up to look like the judges. So they're gonna. So their plan is that they're gonna get Superboy to do some stunts for them, which is gonna pay off for them somehow. Hey, your Muslim uncle. We're just looking at some Superboy comic. We're not. This isn't anything crazy going on. They're all simple comics. We're just kind of going through them. I'm not even really reading them out. I'm just kind of just looking at them with people here. All right, so they're testing his invulnerability. Sure, look, we're glad to. So they're shooting him. Oh, what happened there? That was weird. So they're shooting him. So and he's juggling stuff. It's like, okay, fine. They're like, oh, very good. Next, as an exhibition of speed, we'd like you to reenact your famous one-boy baseball game. So here's one of these things again where there's like Superboy is so fast he can play every position on the field here. Like this seems a little bit weird. Like I mean, I don't know, but I do like the way this is visualized to say that yeah, he can do all these things at once. Now in the meantime here, these guys are robbing people. And because they shot, so earlier here, they had the cops shoot Superboy with all their bullets to prove that he's invulnerable. But then because the cops don't have any ammo left, I guess they use all their ammo on Superboy. So it's like, haha, it's like that's why is it Schemer, whatever, had them shoot slugs at Superboy. So now he's going to do some pitching. I love the yellow cap here. And boom, he just nails them. I don't understand what they thought they were going to do. Like, how are they going to get it? Like, if Superboy is there, like he has super hearing. I don't, that was weird. So this guy's taking pictures. And they're like, dude, like this ain't working out. Like, what's going on here? Okay, we got to be clever this time. Let's figure something else out. So they're like, let's demonstrate your strength now. So, and it was funny too, because I just watched Superman 3 on 4K. I got the 4K for all the Superman movies, Christopher Reeve. And I just watched Superman 3 on 4K. And this is one of the last things he does is crush and make the diamonds. So he hands them the diamonds. It's like, okay. So this guy's taking photos, like he's taking video of all the stunts. So they're like, okay. He goes, let's go to the North Pole here. All right. So he's like breaking this big, huge iceberg. Okay, so this is I don't really get what's going on here. So Superboy doesn't know it yet. They color corrected the costume. So his like Christopher Reeve's outfit looks amazing. Even Superman 4 looks really good. The only problem with 4 is the effects were really not up to par with the other 3, so it's more noticeable when the effects are not good. So that's the only kind of crappy thing about it. But yeah. Okay, so he's smashing this iceberg here, and supposedly this is going to somehow make some sort of noise here. So when they're breaking in, so the alarms are going off at the bank, but I guess they're doing it at the same time that Superboy is smashing this iceberg. So it's like he brought an iceberg here and then he's yelling at it to smash it, and that's loud enough for them to cover up the sounds of. It's like, all right. So he can see them anyways. I mean, like, I don't get what they were trying to do here. And now he's making glass. It's like, sure. Makes a big glass bottle. And then he makes a ship in the bottle. That's pretty cool. So he made a giant glass bottle and then made a ship in the bottle. In the meantime, he's taking care of these bad guys here. So basically, none of their schemes have really worked, but they're like, well, we've got the diamonds. And it's like, wait, it's a hurricane. Whoa, it's a typhoon. It's Superboy. It's so he basically, so he's like, I'm going to make a hurricane. So he makes them into a hurricane, and then boom, he drops the diamonds out. Now, technically, I don't know how that would work because those diamonds really didn't belong to anyone. They didn't steal them. Superboy created them. So I don't know, can they be sued for that, or can they go to jail for that? So they filmed all that stuff for the time capsule. So we dedicate this time capsule to today's Superboy and the Superman of tomorrow. So that's it. That's a time capsule for Superboy. That's kind of cool. So this story was all right. It's just him showing off his powers. These like early issues really have a lot of this where he's just doing random stuff. Like, does it make sense? Does it really further anything? No, he's just doing it to do it. And we got one of these. Little Pete. Varsity Vic. Superboy, The Adventures of Superboy when he was a boy. All right, so this one's really weird. George Washington's drum. I think this one stood out the most to me when I was reading it. And basically, they find this drum from George Washington's time. And then for whatever reason, Superboy uses his X-ray vision to see that his cape is within the drum. So he's like, how did that even happen? So he wants to make sure it is his cape, so he runs different tests on it. He puts them in there. Hey, there's that acid pool from the last story. So it's definitely his cape. So he's wondering how his cape ended up in a drum used or belonging to George Washington or one of his men. So he's like, but how could my cape get inside a drum from the time of the American Revolution? I must find the answer, but the answer is somewhere in the past. So then, boom. Perhaps if I race fast enough, I can break through the dimensions of space and time and hurl myself into the past. Well, here goes. I'm pretty sure it's going to work. So here he is in the past, and he starts to interact with George Washington's guys. And here's where he starts to like help them. So things are going wrong, obviously, and he's helping them out. So is he changing the past, or is this something that, was he always meant to do this? Was Superboy there during this revolution or whatever? I don't know. So he lifts this thing out of here. He helps these guys. So this is just random stuff. It's like, oh, a patriotic American who loves liberty and hates tyranny. I have good news for General Washington. It's like, okay. So he talks to Washington. Look at this. He's like, steering the boat here. Like helping to capture people. So look, he's like, oh no, that guy's going to kill him right there. See, you can't change history, mister. George Washington has to live to be our first president and the father of our country. But, I mean, like, was that going to like, something must have happened. So I don't know if they're saying Superboy literally is changing it or he was always there from the beginning. Now, Washington is actually writing about Superboy in his notes here, but like things keep happening where like he loses the notes or they get blown away or something. So history never records Superboy being there. You got a battle going on now. And look, Superboy's like moving the cannonballs and stuff. That's cool. Look at this. Like compressed air pumps, Superboy's powerful lungs expand the molecular structure of the iron cannonballs. Whoa, that's crazy. So, I mean, I don't like Superboy is helping out George Washington. If the British Army is split up, as you say, then this is a time to strike. So I mean, he's literally giving advice. Like, this is completely against every time travel thing that we always hear about. Clearing the way for them. So here's where the cape comes in. So basically, he takes his cape off and he makes up an American flag. So he's used some bandages to make the. So his cape was already red. I don't think it was the square though, but anyway. And he makes the stripes. He does the blue, bangs this out. So he's got his cape here. So keep on marching, drummer boy. So I don't understand like what happened here. Like he's got another cape. Did I miss something? I read this a week ago. Okay, so blue cloth, yep. Yep. Yeah, he just has another cape. All right. So now we have another. We have this guy taking the Cornwallis is writing his diary, but so he's writing about Superboy, but he's like, no, nobody's going to believe it, so he tears it up. And he's like, tell me, where'd you conceal the flag until you ran it up over the enemy? It's like, oh, we hid it in a drum. He's like, so now I know how it got stuck in the drum. Then he just flies back through to the future. And there you go. He understands how the drum, and that's it. It's just like the most random story. Oh, my cape was in a drum. Let's go on this adventure here with George Washington. It's like, okay. One of the appeals for me of these like really old, these like golden age comics is that it's just like random fun stories that are just kind of a bit nonsense, but just, they're just kind of silly fun. This one's pretty good too. So this is where Superboy forgets who he is. So there's this like meteor or something coming down. And Superboy is like he's gonna save the Earth. So he pushes the threatening comet into a harmless path. So basically, this comet's coming down. Superboy stops it. Now, when he gets back down, he's confused and he doesn't know how he got there. He doesn't know who he is. So he's literally going, and now he's like in India or something here. So he's going around trying to ask people who he is, but nobody knows who he is. So in the meantime, though, he's helping out people. Like he's rediscovering his power slowly just through helping out others. Why I liked this story was that it still shows that his nature is to help people. So even when he forgets, who he is or what he is or his powers, his instincts are to help others. So it's a bit of a, it's a bit silly, but for the story, but it has a good message, I think. So I really like that. And he helps these guys out there. They have to collect coconuts. So he doesn't know he can fly. So he goes up and gathers all these coconuts. And basically, like the workers were unemployed. And because Superboy did so well in gathering these coconuts, the owner basically said, "Well, I'm not gonna pay my other workers when I'm just gonna let you do it." So Superboy refuses to do it. And then he's forced to pay the other workers. So basically, like, okay, so right here, Superboy doesn't know who he is. He needs food and shelter. So this guy says, "Sure, get 1,000 coconuts and I'll give you food and shelter." So he does do it because Superboy discovers that he has powers. And then they're basically like, "Well, you're a lot faster than everyone else." He's like, "I don't need these other people. So see ya." And then Superboy's like, "Oh crap," because I kind of messed up these guys' jobs here. So it's like, okay. Now basically Superboy says, so he did agree to get the coconuts, but he didn't say how. So he does it really fast. He goes, "You say you've picked all the coconuts, but where'd you pile them? All I promised to do was pick them. If you want me to tell you where to find them, you'll have to hire back your workers." So they basically hire them back. So again, he's going around again. He gets on a plane. Now he's in China. And again, nobody really knows who he is. And he's trying to figure out like his place. So he's helping this guy out by doing one of these, I don't know what they're called, like these like rickshaw carts or whatever. So he's doing the flying rickshaw. And it's like, wow. So he's like doing all this crazy stuff. He learns that he can fly. So he's helping this guy make some money because this guy was really poor with his rickshaw. And again, he's helping people out here. You've got like this elephant going kind of crazy. He helps this guy out. Okay, yeah, it's good. We're gonna help you out with this elephant. He goes, "So I I'm strong enough to knock out an elephant, yet I can't remember who I am." So he still doesn't know who he is, and he flies off. So he basically has discovered all of his powers. So now he's in India. Now this guy here knows who he is. So he's like, "Oh, Superboy doesn't know his name, and if I disguise him, nobody else will either. I can use him to win a bet from Falco the Explorer." So he's like, "Oh, yeah, stick with me. Oh, golly, that's great, Mr. Keen. Thanks for helping me out." So he's like, "Put on this parka. It gets cold up here, blah, blah, blah." So now Superboy is in disguise in this green parka, and then the bad guy's in the orange. So he's making a bet with this guy. So there's like this explorer guy. So they're talking about Mount Everest, and he's like, "Well, you can't climb it, and it's impossible." And then this guy's, "Yeah, well, I'll bet you $5,000. Sorry, 100,000 to your 5,000 to say that I've got a kid that can climb it." So obviously Superboy climbs it because he's Superboy, and he gets a bolt here. So let's see what happens here. So there's a flare. He shoots out a flare. And because the gun has a steel barrel, lightning hits it. And then he gets his memory back. So and now he realizes, oh, that guy was just using me. So the bet is off because Superboy comes down. He's like, well, I'm really Superboy. So obviously I can climb Everest. And that is it. And he goes, oh, there's an elephant girl in Asia. Yes, because I helped her. He's like, oh, why? I must have read it somewhere. It's like, okay, so random. That's it. So that was it. Now, there's your 3 stories. Which story was everyone's favorite story? So we have, just to recap, we have the stunts of Superboy, where he's doing all the different stunts and they're tricking him. Then we had the mystery of the cape in the drum. And then we had the the Superboy forgot who he was. That's it. That's your issue 2. We'll take a sneak peek at issue 3, which I'll look at another time. Come on. These are pretty long, eh? How many pages you get on here? 50-something pages? That's pretty good. For 10 cents. Again, using his hands to like trim stuff. Oh, yes, I remember this one. Yes, I remember this one. All right. Well, there you go. There's Superboy issue 2. That's it. I think we're going to end it off there. Just to let everybody know, tomorrow I'll be live with Steve talking about the WWE Backlash, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So there'll be a lot to talk about there. And then on Friday, we're doing our 80s Fantasy Versus. So we're going to pick our final 2. So the final 2 are going to be chosen this Friday. And you can see that's where we're at. So it's between Hawk the Slayer, Conquest, Barbarians, or Sword and the Sorcerer. One of those is going to win. 2 of those are going to the final 2. And then from the final 2, we'll have our winner. So that is it, guys. All right. Well, I hope everybody had fun going through Superboy number 2. I'm just doing these for my own amusement. It's not really anything like special. I just like Superboy, and I've been collecting these issues. I don't have Superboy number 1 or 2, but I'm trying to get them all. I'm actually going to try to get a complete set of Superboy, at least volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. So there's the TV series Superboy. So I'm gonna get that for sure. That's only like 22 issues. And then the New Adventures of Superboy, I actually have a few of those already. I've got number 1 of that and a few others. So I'm going to try to complete that series. And if I can complete Superboy Volume 1, that'll be epic. But I won't do anything after Crisis. So it's all going to be, for me, Superboy is going to be is like Kal-El, right? So, all right, guys. Well, thank you to everybody who's listening. I know there's some people listening just in the background and lurking. So thank you so much. And if you're listening to this later on, I appreciate it and hope to see you again.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.